So Georgia might say, we're going to allow for $2 million because that's
I know you.
Last thing
used
before I get out of my
operation. So when it
I left you a voice message. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you.
Still looking for a job.
find out, like, okay, done.
I wanted to make sure you knew.
No, it was
This
just
work.
over that, house.
Spend my day doing taxes. Finding a tax return.
I don't know. It's not, there's never.
Oh, okay.
just both sides of it. Okay, it's a two-sided document.
And, I just,
Oh, okay, this is great.
they're coming from public right? Which,
I think it's get their start, but like SSO,
That's right, yeah.
All right, y'all, I don't know what's going on with the camera, but
for Georgia Post?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the school choice is one they'll,
oh, there, now it's over.
Working in Columbus, Georgia, and we're in Birmingham, and I'm just on the road all the time.
We're ready to go whenever you guys are,
All right,
but I don't know how to. Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with it.
The cool kids.
It will
all right, does everybody have their microphones on? We're gonna go ahead and get started. We do have a quorum this evening. We are missing John Norton and Cheryl Rand, but everyone else is present. If we could, can we stand up and pledge the flag, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Did everyone get a chance to look over the minutes from the February meeting?
did.
And if we did, do we have any questions or comments about it? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes. Tonight, we don't have any old business that I'm aware of, so we're going to just jump right into new business. And with that, it's going to be ABA, and Mr. Burkett is going to come and give a presentation.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can share. Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah Coke's not presenting today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Daniel Burkett, and just took over the program as president and commissioner about 6 months ago. So,
Thank you.
running through, yeah, you're welcome. I was going through the numbers, trying to figure it all out on what to present to y'all, and it's tough with COVID. I did put the 2020 numbers in there versus the 2021, and it's starting to grow, and I know this is a recap of 2021, but our spring numbers this year are significantly higher, so it's great to see the program growing back.
2021. So these are 2021 numbers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, the top column is 2021 and the bottom is 2020. And so you can see where spring was really high or 2020 and then dropped off, and 2021 is starting to grow back again. Summer was up and fall was way up. Registration trends, again, it's hard to tell with COVID. I know there's a lot of young families back in Alpharetta are starting families here. So that we're getting a lot of new players at all ages, which is nice. So numbers have started increasing. There is travel teams opening up on every corner. I know everybody knows that in every sport. So we're competing with that a lot. It's you get a lot of we call them daddy ball travel teams that take kids away, and a lot of them end up coming back within a year or two. So it's nice there. Some of the headwinds we're facing is the Milton non-residency issue. I didn't put the Milton numbers on there, but they're way down, which it is what it is. The travel teams, the competitive travel ball is getting younger and younger. I know 8U a couple years ago got real big, and I've heard talks of 7U having travel, which blows my mind. But tailwinds, we've got great facility. thankfully, our reputation, I can't take credit for it. It's pretty good out there in the community. Competitive programs, there's a great group of volunteers running the program. We make up every game. That always helps. We talk to some other parks, and games like tonight we had scheduled rain out, and parks are going, well, sorry, see, parent survey. I did it from the fall because 2020 spring, we didn't have a survey with everything else. But 2021 versus 2020, we were up 2% on the head coach's satisfaction of the head coach's ability. We're up 3% on the satisfaction of your head coach's ability to treat all players fairly. And we were up 0.5% on head coach team parent communication. We were down 2% on the head coach's ability to teach and demonstrate sportsmanship and fair play. We're improving that. We're coming up with different systems for that to get it back up there, but it's tough to get volunteer coaches nowadays. I won't lie about that. We're begging a lot for the 5th, 6th, 7th coach on a team, or per team, 6 or 7 teams. Overall satisfaction of the head coach's ability to ensure the players enjoy their season, up 0.02%, which, these all ratings are out of 5, so they're not, to me, they're not bad ratings at all.
I was hoping it was 5.
Yeah. 4.7 out of 20 is not bad, right?
It's all really good.
For question number 2, it's interesting because you think about treating all players fairly. Is it you play players longer in the field if they're better, or do you have every player have equal playing time, right?
So every player is going to have equal playing time. Per our rules, no kid can sit on the bench twice until every kid sat once. Okay. But when you get into the older age groups of where it's kid pitch and it's a lot more competitive, and there's no requirements on how often this kid has to play infield versus outfield. In our younger ages, it's by the end of the 4th inning, everybody has to play infield and outfield by the end of that inning. Older age groups, we don't have that. So that's what the question is geared towards. Was the coach fair?
When you say you have a hard time getting coaches, do y'all ever reach outside to like recent college graduates or different ones to?
We've actually had several come to us, and it's, the tough part of the younger 20s that come to us, and they've been great assets to the program, is we don't want to necessarily give them a head coaching responsibility because they want the older age groups. They don't want to mess with the younger kids. They want to get out there with the 15 and up age groups. And it's, to us, putting a 22 or 23-year-old in charge of 16 through 19-year-olds without another adult there is not the best. But we have had
For
lots.
assistants, like for an assistant coaching position?
Yes,
you
ma'am.
consider that?
They come on as assistants, and they've been great assets to us.
Okay.
Let's see. 2021 accomplishments. AYBA itself invested $29,000 and change into the parks. Some of the major ones were the safety netting around field 4 and field 8, where the walking paths go by the fields. You need to keep from the heads up. You hear screamed all the time at the park. It hits the nets, and it's helped a lot. Got new bleachers, and I think they got brought over from a different park, but the new bleachers and then sunscreens over the bleachers between 7 and 8. Parents have really liked that. The old planter boxes were removed between 5 and 8. And it looks a lot better without those. One of the big ones was the old Hero Wall. I don't know if y'all remember that. It was the big wall that's been there for years. It was taken down, and we worked with the city and got the nice walkway up now. It's got all the plaques, and it looks phenomenal. We've gotten lots of compliments on that. Let's see. Put a new scoreboard on T1 to kind of combat the competitiveness of the travel at the younger ages. Our 6U, we used to not keep score. And so we have started last spring, we started keeping score at that age group. And it's, parents have been happy with it and everything else. And it keeps it from the T-ball, the 4 or 5-year-old field to, 6U, they're actually playing baseball. The rules are very modified to, it is 6-year-old baseball, but, let's see. And then I think we paid for it in 2021, and I think it started in 2021, but at Wet Bridge Park, Field C and D, infields have been completely redone, and it'll help a lot. 2022 desired projects for this year. Would love to turf some of the fields, not every one, not the whole fields, but some of the infields to keep, a lot of the rainouts that kill us with practice time and everything else, it'd be great to be able to get those games in.
If you had to prioritize those, how would you prioritize those for them?
So I put notes on here on fields 2, so that's the 9 and 10-year-old fields. Fields 1 and field 2 is 9 and 10-year-old fields, so we just do one of those. Is that what you're asking, which fields I would want to do?
If you could only do one, would you do 2, 5, 7, or 2, 1?
Probably field 5 and field 2. If I could only do one or two of them. Field 5 is our 7U and 8U field, and it doesn't drain. It'll be rain like tonight. It'll be wet, next Tuesday. if it
That's the
doesn't
one
rain again.
closest to the Mansell House, if you're not familiar with the numbers.
Left field is,
It's wet on dry days.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cancellations there. I'll get, notes from Ruby or Barry of, hey, all fields except for field 5 are ready to go tonight. And we all understand, and the parents and everybody else understands. That'd be my number one priority to turf that field.
Sorry to interrupt you, understand.
No, you're fine. Good point. Working on replacing the pitching mound on field 4, and I'd love to, we're playing a lot more games at Wet Bridge Park now. I want to start utilizing that park a lot more for games. We've always used it for practices, and we've had games there and tournaments there and stuff like that, but the dugouts, y'all probably know better than I do when it was built, Wet Bridge baseball fields and all that. It's been a while, and it's the small, tiny dugouts, so I'd like to get the dugouts redone. As y'all know, we have the Georgia Bombers Baseball Club as our travel organization, and they're part of AYBA, even though, they wear different uniforms and all that. And all their coaches are listed here. They run all our mandatory coaches clinics for us and do a great job at that. They come out and train the right coaches, and these are paid coaches for the Georgia Bombers that come out and do these clinics and paid events. And I've called them on whims before of, hey, I've got, a set of coaches in 9-10s really struggling to teach kids how to pitch. Can y'all step up in there? What day do you want us there? So they've been a great partner as far as the travel organization. I listed the 2021 coaches and age groups. And then you can tell some of them are really good coaches and have really good teams by the champions and runners-up. Of course, I didn't put in the tournaments. They did come first or second in, but there's a list of them that they did. Follow that up. It's just thank you, on behalf of the board for everything y'all do. It's, some of my favorite pictures of Barry pumping the fields and everything else, getting them ready. City works hard to make sure we play baseball on day. And I appreciate it. I've talked to a lot of our different parks around here, Roswell, Milton, OC, different board members out there, and, say, hey, I'm on the way to the park to coach a game. Y'all are playing tonight? It rained 2 inches yesterday. I'm like, yeah, we're playing. So that makes us look good, and it gets around out there. So thank you for that. There are some pictures of the new, we call it the Walk of Fame now instead of the Wall of Fame.
Love that.
Pictures of that. And I included the one from last year where our 11U rec all-star team won the Dizzy Dean State Championship and then went to the World Series in Mississippi and came runner-up there. So that was
right.
If you were there Saturday for the opening day parade, they proudly held their banners, and I don't that's a picture of the sunscreen bleachers between 7 and 8, and then another picture of that, and then I'm not sure the last time this was done with COVID and everything else, so I included a couple of years ago, I think it was 2020, we switched to self-branded uniforms. Y'all probably seen it around the city instead of the old MLB logo uniforms, and they've been a huge hit. Our thought process on it was it's self-advertising. I'd see my kids, of course, they'd wear the Braves uniforms that we used to have, but if they were any other team, they weren't putting it on. But now, both my boys, they'll wear, their gold and black uniform on a Sunday, just hanging around the house, going out shopping and stuff like that. So we had some pushback at first, but, now I don't think we could change back out of these uniforms without making more people mad. They got mad at us for changing. And I will say it's paid off now because I was talking to somebody out of Smyrna League, and they are still with MLB uniforms, and they couldn't get them this year. And so they're scrambling, trying to do self-branded uniforms just to have uniforms for this season. But yeah, that's all I really have.
I have a question about the new sponsorships and tell us how that's going and
It's been
field
great.
goals.
We started advertising it, back late fall, and didn't have a bunch jump, and we decided let's wait till spring and then we'll get them printed, and the sponsors we had and we'll put up, and I think of hanging the first couple of banners. We've picked up 4 new sponsors since then. And several of them have bought banners and we charge $1,000 per banner. And they haven't batted an eye at it. So it's good advertising for them. And a lot of it we've learned is coaches or people that are very involved in the program that own businesses around here. And hey, I'll support it. Why not?
Yep.
So it's been successful so far.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to do that.
I was going to ask the exact same question, actually. Like, how much money has it brought in? You said about 4 total banners?
So we printed some banners just to put on the fence to get the ideas out there. And if you drive by the park, you'll see some AYBA ones and Grand Slam Sports, who's same owner of the Georgia Bombers, owns Grand Slam Sports. And so, when it's rainy days like this, we'll send teams over there and he doesn't charge us to let them practice in his cages. And so we printed some banners for him. I should have the numbers, but I think we've sold about 7 banners so far.
Okay.
So it's good, and we're still getting emails asking, and some of them don't like the price, but some of them I'll take 2. So.
How has parents' feedback been to those banners as parents watching their kids play? Because I know on the board here, we were 50-ish on going forward with that proposal. I was just curious how the parents felt.
I haven't heard anything negative. I'm sure it's out there. Don't get me wrong. I haven't heard it, and Alpharetta parents are not normally shy about letting us know when they don't like something. So to me, that's a good note. I have heard positive views about it, and great, you guys finally get to get sponsorship banners, and hope it helps the program and all that kind of stuff. So,
thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Daniel, thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Saturday was a blast.
Yeah.
It was.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
I hated I missed it.
Thank you for everything you do.
Absolutely.
Tell your board thank you.
I will. Thank you for everything y'all do.
We are scheduled to replace the turf on Field 4 next year.
Okay.
Okay, so part of that replacement program, we started, the first one that was out at Webb Bridge, and then we've replaced it at North Park, and now we're going to come back and do 4. So
Okay.
I say that it is scheduled in there right now. Now, we're in the budget process right now, so I can't make a promise that it'll make the cut, but it does look very good right now, very promising. So I noticed that you wanted a mound on Field 4, so we would certainly, if we're going to put new turf, we would certainly put a
That'd be
new
great.
mound in there as well.
That'd be great.
So
I
we're
don't
hoping
know if we
that's
can
gonna
fix
work
that
for
mound
us.
anymore.
And we're confident at this point in time that we're going to be able to do that.
Okay.
And the other thing that I'll add is that, and it's baseball related, it's not actually AYBA, but the Braves tournament is coming back this summer.
Good.
To Wills Park. And as part of that tournament, and I wish I knew the date, the championship trophy is going to be on display at Wills Park.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's a pretty big deal in the baseball world. So we're gonna host the national championship, the World Series championship. I'm sorry, World Championship.
Oh, that's great.
Pretty big deal.
That
So
is.
watch for that this summer as well.
It is, and not to interrupt you, Morgan, but a compliment to Wills Park is they, same people that run that reached out to me about running a summer clinic for 2 days. And I said, sure, we'd love to let y'all come out and run a summer clinic. They did it last year. And they sent it right as we were starting to kick off spring drafts and everything else, and I had 0 time. And a couple of days later, they sent me back and said, hey, we sent you a list of dates. We're not going to let it go out to anybody else until we get what you want back. So I thought that was pretty neat because they wanted to definitely get Wills Park into their, schedule.
And I'll say that when Dave McMahon decided he was going to hang up his hat, not be president anymore, we were worried. Okay, we were real worried that Dave was going to leave, but I'm telling you, you filled his shoes very nicely and without missing a beat. So, that's thank you for. I know you've probably been drinking from the fire hose this year. So
It was learning.
The average baseball player or their parents, I don't think have noticed a change, and that's a big nod to you because Dave did an outstanding job. So thanks for stepping up and being part of that. We look forward to working with you for at least the next 3 years, maybe.
We'll see.
At least he's
I'm
honest.
worried about 3.
Yeah, I'll be around for a while.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for everything y'all do.
Thank you. All right, next
next is going to be Doug Yearwood with Alpharetta Ambush.
All right, Doug.
Good afternoon, everybody. She asked me to stand this up so we could hear. How do I get one of those 3-year terms? That's all I need.
You're ongoing.
Say it and then mean it.
3.
You had
For those of you who don't know me, I've been here a lot longer than 3 years.
Doug,
so-
how
5 3-year terms, right?
At least,
Yeah.
at least.
My name's Doug Yearwood. I'm president of Alpharetta Ambush Soccer Club, and Commissioner Mitchell, Director Rogers, all of commissioners, thank you for hosting. Enjoy coming here in the past and seeing everybody, and then, of course, we got interrupted, so it's been a while. We've had a lot change at Ambush, which is unusual for me to stand here and say. I've stood here 5 years previous and said, calm waters, everything's the same, but a lot has changed. And before I get in that, just a quick mention on COVID. We're almost on the 2-year anniversary. It was March 12th when we heard there was some problem in a Fulton County school that afternoon right before soccer practice started, and everything went clamped down fast and shut down, and we thought it would be for a day or two. And of course, it wasn't until about June 8th when the soccer world just kind of inched back open, and we had boxes painted on the field, and the kids stayed in there, and we're wearing masks, and it's 95 degrees outside, and we inched back onto the field that June. But by the fall, youth soccer in general around the country, and especially in Georgia, did a pretty good job, as responsible as you could at the time with the information that we had on the virus, opening back up. And we got back on the field in the fall of 2020, and numbers on the Ambush side, remarkably, were fairly steady and about the same as they had been. Rec soccer all over the state took a big hit at that time and took a step back, and was that way through the fall season. But by the spring of 2021, the soccer world had really rebounded by that point. It had been a pretty good fall season, and with the exception of the spike that we had with the Delta variant that December, it was everything had come back pretty good. And so the numbers, and you'll see the numbers. I've been scrambling. Last week was the opening day, and you'll see the numbers that we have in the increases. And so if you need handouts, I'll get those to Christine and to you guys. But going through 2021 in the soccer world, it became very normal again, starting with the spring of 2021 season and certainly the fall. And it's been good to get through that. We certainly had the spike here in January, which we had to deal with a lot of exposure cases and things like that, mostly coming out of the school systems and interpreting what they were saying versus, I have good friends at Fulton County Health Department now, and figuring out what was going on, but kept the kids on the field, kept things going, and off to a really good start at the start of the current soccer year, which was last August, and carrying into the spring here. So how have we changed? The changes that I just talked about, there's two primary things. We changed leagues, as I was just beginning to introduce to you guys 2 years ago, and left Georgia soccer with our competitive teams for the first time ever, and joined what's called the SCCL, which was a new higher level competitive league. And we were nervous going into it, but subsequently have done well in that league. And then the biggest change was working with Christine and Morgan and everybody, and becoming a partner association to the city, just like football and baseball and softball are. And soccer now are officially a partner association. And the biggest change in that was we began managing the rec soccer program, not just the travel or select or academy side. So with those two things, it's been a bit of a crazy fall season, and here into the spring, starting to hit our stride a little bit. From a staffing point of view, last time I saw you guys, there was me, and since then, I now have a Director of Administrative Services that Kim Kanaka, who's helping us, and Toby Azias brought him in from one of the big mega clubs in Atlanta, Concord Fire, you've probably heard of, and brought him in. He's running the rec program and also doing all of our scheduling. And then we have a gentleman, Jeff Elsey, who basically has taken over for what Tyler Spin and Weber and the part-timers used to do in terms of opening and closing the fields and things like that. So we call him our field coordinator. And so there's a staff of 4 of us now that are managing in the background the combined entity of Ambush Academy and Select and the rec program. Our board of members is still at 5 members. We have our meetings regularly, and that group is doing a very, very good job for us. And as far as the club size, here's what's happened from last spring 2021, which was a fairly normal season, through this year. Ambush and rec combined last spring 2021, there were 1,175 players in the combined entity. This spring, we've jumped up to 1,430 players. That's a 22% increase, okay? And the rec program from that time period went from 549 players up to 725 players. We've had an explosion of players in the very, very young age groups, the 5 and under up to about 10 and under. So all of that is self-contained, in-house scheduling now. We have 11 to 12 teams in some of those age groups alone. And that's just been a remarkable just outpouring from the community into those age groups on the rec side. On the academy side, the last 3 years I had reported to you guys, we were right at 620 to 625 players year after year after year. That has bumped up to 705, or about a 13% increase on the travel side also. That's mostly in our older age groups, where we've just had a surge of older teenage kids, which is a bit unusual for travel soccer come in, and we've added a few teams in that age group. And then on the opposite end, our U8 Junior Academy, just like rec, that's a program that's grown also. Reasons for the growth. One of the big things on the rec program was Christine and her group made the transition last fall from ARPCS to Ambush as smooth as it could possibly be, even to the point of allowing us to use ActiveNet, the city's registration system, for that first season, and helped us basically take the strategy of just keep everything the same, keep everything for the same, get everybody in, slowly through that fall season, get their accounts set up on our system. Don't do it in a rush at the beginning of the spring season. So throughout the fall, we got them their accounts set up on our system, and then by the time registration did open on November 15th, they were set up, ready to go. Registration began, and that smooth transition really helped us a lot. So thanks to your crew on that. It was a big help. But other things that certainly allowed for that growth to happen, and other reasons why it happened, was Innovation Complex coming back online, of course, allowed field space and capacity that we hadn't had in 4 years. And I have to say, boy, did it come back online. If you'd been there before and playing there at night, you knew how, the best word I heard is spooky, how spooky it was back there, okay, and just how great it is now. And thanks goes to Eric for managing that place and keeping it in shape right now. And it's a tough time of year for any grass soccer field in Georgia. But that complex is fantastic. And next Saturday, we have our first games on Field 2, the backfield. So, yep. And I know Kurt's been pulling his hair out with getting lights installed back there, and that we'll have lights by the time the fall comes around, and we'll make full use of that field and spread out, and not just expand numbers, but spread out, because we're still crammed in pretty tight at Webbridge Park. Convincing parents to drive from Webbridge Park to Innovation has been a little bit of a chore, and vice versa, but it's happening, and we've expanded both the rec program and the Ambush side to Innovation. If you go by there any Monday through Thursday night from 4:30 until 9, you'll see the teams there practicing. So Innovation opening back up. A couple of advertising strategies, especially on the rec side, using the current Ambush parents, social media, and then getting into the schools around Webbridge Park and Innovation with Peach Jar, the electronic advertising service that Fulton County uses. We took advantage of that, and I believe that had some to do with the increase on the rec side. The rec soccer just joining with Ambush and the synergies that created. We saw a higher influx of players going from fall rec into Ambush Junior Academy and Ambush Academy during the winter months than we've ever seen before. And it's just having that connected, more information, our coaches meeting the rec coaches, practicing next to each other. Those type things have helped with the overall registration too. We managed the wait list, which was an enormous wait list. We managed that differently and set the numbers a little bit higher. In association with that, we also increased the number of players on the rec teams. We went into it in the fall season with how it's been managed in the past and how we manage the travel side. And if you've got 15 players, that's plenty to play 11v11 on the weekend. But we learn on the rec side, if you've got 15 on the roster, it might only 11 show up on Saturday. It's a completely different commitment. They're doing other things, and all that's fine, and we learn that. So we increase the size of the rosters in every age group, and the coaches have been super complimentary of that because they have enough at practice and at games now to accomplish what they want to get done. So those two things helped a lot. One interesting thing that we've noted doing some research in the area on the rec program is our fees here are low, and in some cases very low compared to our main competitors, Newtown Park and Roswell Santos. And in some cases on the U5 to U8, our prices are anywhere from 25 to 40% lower than what they're charging for the same program. And in the U10 to U19 range, anywhere from 7 to 20% lower. So I don't think the prices on the rec side have changed in probably as long as I can remember. And on the ambush side, we've only changed them once in the last 7 years. So we'll do a good bit of research on the fee structure for rec soccer. And once we get through a complete financial, we're still building our financials, absorbing all this, getting a new budget set up, seeing what our expenses and revenue really are. Once we get all that set up, we'll take a hard look at the fees also. And there's certainly room there, we think, to nudge those a little bit and stay super competitive in the area. But if we don't have to, we won't, but it's something that we're going to look at. And then in this area, we just have a great audience for soccer. I mean, it's just a soccer mad community right now, and just kids pouring out of the woodwork. The Atlanta United soccer on TV every time you turn it on, and it's a World Cup year, of course, and around the park the kids are excited about that, and it comes in the winter this year instead of the summer. But all of that combined, there's just an enthusiasm in the community about soccer, which we're the recipients of and lucky for it right now. So all of those are the reasons we see in this growth, and we'll manage that growth going forward because of field space, but we do have field space now at Innovation. We haven't even touched the other field until this coming Saturday, field number 2, and we'll manage all of that carefully. Within all of those numbers, 63% of the club combined are residents of Alpharetta, 37% are non-residents. Within that 37% are non-residents, 25% of that whole group are Johns Creek, 8% are Milton, and there's a 4% that are a scattering of Roswell, mostly Roswell city residents, and from the South Forsyth area that still have Alpharetta as their mailing address from that area. So that makes up most of it. We probably have, of the 700 travel players, we probably have 3 players that come from outside the areas I just named. So it's mostly Johns Creek. And then a last statistic, the rec program itself, of course, the residency on that, because of the 5 and under, 6 and under, and 8 and under being mostly very, very local here, the residency on the rec program is still at 74% with 26 non-resident, which is where it's historically been. So good maintenance of the residency numbers there. Coaching staffs, some interesting numbers. We have 71, right now we have currently 71 rec coaches, which means we have 71 teams. And it was a chore finding all of those, but believe it or not, every single one of them are either a parent or a sibling of a player that's playing in the program. We have 20 ambush coaches now. We had 15 historically. We've raised that number to 15. And some of that's because the coaches don't have quite as many teams as they've had in the past that you would have been familiar with. For the first time ever, 5 of our academy coaches are USSF National A licensed coaches, which is the top certification you can get in the country from USSF. We have 5 of those coaches in ambush right now, and 2 are B licensed working on their A. So by this time next year, we should have 7 A licensed coaches. All of those coaches, all 91 of them, rec and academy, they're all background checked. They've all gone through the safe sport training. They've all gone through the heads up concussion certification, and then all of the ambush coaches have gone through a much more extensive safety certification that covers everything from you guys' third person rule to we have our own Zoom policy for how to operate on a Zoom call to heat and hydration policies and those type things. So all the coaches are certified and good to go. Financially, I touched on that a second ago. We're as stable as we can be with the growth and the blending of the 2 programs. We're still, our treasurer is still blending everything together in this first year, rebuilding reclassifying some things and making sure we can separate the rec side from the ambush side, yet blend it all together at the end, recreating a budget for me. And I'll have much more better reporting on that probably around June 1st when the end of the soccer fiscal year ends, and have good reporting there. But we both feel pretty good, actually really good about that. This year, we add up, we've contributed about $10,000 in improvements around the parks, everything ranging from the 2 sets of brand new goals that are at Innovation right now, to nets on all 4 parks, including North Park, wheel kits for the goals, a whole multitude of small items like locks, chains, lock boxes. We added 10 new player benches at Webbridge Park, 2 more are on the way. And so all those things, they start to add up in a hurry. And then, of course, we're sharing on the light installation expense at Innovation 2 on field number 2. So trying to give back as much as we can there. Capital wish list. The biggest thing I can say is thank you to you guys and the council and the city for the vote in November. And I could take you out to our fishing pond right now on the upper field at Webbridge Park. I mean, it's just as the gentleman from baseball said. The problem with that field is not the rain tonight. Of course we cancel. That happens everywhere. And in most everywhere, soccer fields will be canceled tomorrow too. But by Thursday, most places will reopen. We won't reopen at Webbridge Park till maybe next Monday or Tuesday, even if it didn't rain again until then. We could, but we would destroy it. And so it's just gone through too many years of scraping and resodding and our play and natural settling. The water just doesn't go anywhere anymore. And it starts this time each year, and it just doesn't drain. So that turf field is something that's got everybody excited. I hope the project keeps going and does okay. We're going to be as much of an issue of when it happens as the other things, because we've got to navigate a whole year of soccer around it. But we've had some preliminary discussions, and we'll make it work. However and whenever it needs to be done. So thank you, Vic.
Let me jump in there, Doug.
Yeah.
So while you're talking about that, we are excited about it as well, but we're concerned now about the price. We have $1 million for that, and I just don't want to. I don't want to throw water on your fire, but I just want to make everybody understand that $1 million doesn't go as much as far as it did 18 months or 2 years ago when these prices were set. So stay tuned. I think the city is committed to doing that. So we're just going to have to find out. We're still trying to figure out exactly what's underneath there and whether we can put the field lines from the restroom under there. So we're designing that, but just stay tuned. I do think the city's committed to that, to doing that project. And it'll just be a matter of whether we do it in the winter or the summer. We know that those are the 2 times we're going to do.
Yep.
I'm hoping that next year, this time, that field will be turfed.
Right.
So
Yep. Well, we do too.
keeping my fingers crossed.
And I knew $1 million for an area that size was going to be close, or even
So save your pennies.
enough. Exactly. Yeah. If that happens, it couldn't come soon enough. If that happens, that field has definitely seen its better days, and it's tough to manage as the teams that we have around having our biggest facility shut down a lot like it is. We've already lost probably 6 nights of practice since the start of the season, and fortunately last weekend was the culmination of 5 straight dry days, so we got to play a little bit up there but we've already moved everything off of it for this Saturday, crammed into North Park and the Webbridge Park turf, and should be able to get everything done. But we can't do that in the fall, of course, because of American football at North Park, so we just have that luxury right now. Capital wish list, I've spoken to Councilman Binder about this a couple times. His little girl plays in the rec soccer program, and he was out at Webbridge Park and actually witnessed what goes on in that turf field parking lot at changeover, and I've put in a request to him several times about converting that loop to one-way, as well as installing at least 1, if not 2, speed bumps through that parking lot. So he's aware of that, and that's something we'd like to see, the soccer program would like to see, is that loop made one way. It's not a perfect solution, because if you were to miss your turn and you got to circle that whole park to get back in, so it's a little bit of a tough situation, but it's not as tough as what goes on at 6 o'clock and at 7:30 when things are changing over there, and especially if there's any baseball going on whatsoever, because they do a lot of baseball parks in that parking lot also. So
No, this is the upper field, correct?
No, the turf field.
The turf field,
Yeah, so
okay.
when you first come in, you turn at the first little narrow entrance.
Right.
And you would go in that way and then circle around and come out, yeah.
Yeah.
Innovation, like I said, there's improvements on the way, the floodlight systems, and I want to walk around with Eric a little bit and look at, depending on how we turn the field and things like that, some of the fencing on that field number 2 and netting and things like that, so that we could certainly get involved with expense-wise. But there's a couple things we could do on that field number 2 that would make it a really, really nice facility for soccer. And then the last thing is the restroom at Webbridge Park on the trail there, at the soccer restroom. That restroom is old, it's functional, it works, it's as clean as they can make it. It's on that trail that's just busy 24/7. I'd say it's hard pressed to find a restroom that's used as much or more than that one, and it's starting to show its age a little bit. You know this, and we'd like to see something there over the next few years too, just to replace the fixtures and things like that in there. Our threats and barriers to the club right now, don't take this the wrong way, I say it every time I'm here, the residency policy is tough, okay? It's not so much a threat as it is a barrier. It is very tough the 6 days in May and June when we have tryouts. We deal with that where no other club in Georgia has to deal with a policy that's as rigid as that one. I'm an Alpharetta City resident. I don't say this advocating for no policy. I would just enjoy a conversation to modify the policy that was written 10 to 12 years ago and in my opinion has become out of date for what the needs were back then versus what they are now. So that's one thing. The others are just competition like any business. We're surrounded by 4 of the mega clubs in all of the Southeast, not just Atlanta, but the Southeast. We have identified 10 years ago who we are. We don't try to be them. We try to be the best at the segment that we're in, and we've survived in the middle of 4 of those clubs for this long, and we'll continue to do that. I do strategize with them. We're friendly with all of them. I do meet with them. I do talk partnerships with them. It doesn't work out. It's a very complicated world, the youth soccer world. I do look for ways to get into higher level leagues. That's what our parents want. It's what our players want. It's how it would keep us from losing players. But that hasn't worked out. And right now we're very content with the league that we're in and who we are and what we are. And that's who we try to be. So concluding, and I appreciate the time tonight, time permitting in our schedules, other things that are on our plate right now as potential new things around ambush. I've talked to you a little bit, Tiny Tots program that takes the age down to 4U and 3U. There's all sorts of prepackaged Tiny Tots soccer and speed and agility type programs that are great programs for like morning moms and morning programs at Innovation or at Webbridge Park or in a gymnasium or wherever it ends up being. And then they can be at night in the activity and the excitement of the soccer field at Webbridge Park when there's hundreds of kids out there. So a Tiny Tots program, further expanding all of our programs into Innovation Complex like I've already talked. We started the rec program. They're over there now. We start playing rec games on Field 2 next Saturday, and we'll do that as long as the weather and the field allows us. And we'll move even more of ambush and the rec program to that facility next fall. The word is getting out on the west side of 400 and around downtown. What we did with the rec program, so you know, the 20 or so teams that practice there, we went through, I think there's 725 kids in the rec program. We went through each one of those one by one and identified west of 400 or east of 400, and we formed the teams at Innovation with west of 400 parents, and they absolutely loved it. And of course, there's a few from the east to fill in the teams, and there's a few from the west that requested coaches on the east, and so it wasn't perfect science, but they really like that, and those families are really spreading the word about what's going on and that there's rec level soccer at Innovation now. So that coupled with advertising, I want to do some targeted advertising to, I can't remember the name of the elementary school right in downtown Old Crabapple, the school that's right there. Target, for instance, that school and let them know that there's rec, U4, U5, U6 soccer at started to say Milton Center, at Innovation Complex and things like that to further advertise that facility. A walking soccer league for 50 and over. That's
Walking,
walking, yeah.
down and back.
This is a
lot of breaks, a lot of breaks.
Exactly. It's actually a health and fitness program that ties soccer into it, and it's walking only. I won't get too deep into it, but I do. One of my dear friends in the world lives in Manchester, England, and there's about an 8,000 team league across England right now of adult
That's
men's
walking.
over 50 and over 60 walking soccer, and it's gotten my attention. It's something that's not here, and because of the health and fitness element for the adults 50 and older, I think it's a really interesting idea. So things like that, 3v3 tournaments, with the new capacity that we have, we could probably even go back to like we did 8 years ago and look at hosting an actual rec or academy tournament on weekend, all-star games for our rec program. Our rec coaches have told us they'd love to do that. I don't think we're going to get to that one in the spring, but it will be in the fall. What we are getting to in the spring is we have added into season tournaments for our rec age groups that have enough teams in an age group to have a tournament. And so the coaches are pretty fired up about that. And then to wrap up, Nate, Eric, Kurt, Chris Anderson, all the guys, they're unreal. I mean, they are, I mean, Webbridge Park is just awesome, what Nate does there with his crew, what Eric's done at Innovation. And if I call them, they answer. We try to help when we ask for things and throw in some labor and things like that, but the fields are ready, the buildings are in great shape that we use. I couldn't ask for more. So that crew at the parks, I appreciate all you guys do. I think that's about it. Soccer in general in Atlanta is in a really good place, especially in a good place here in North Fulton. We're lucky to have a club here in North Fulton, lucky to have the facilities you guys let us use. I do appreciate it, and I thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you for yours.
A lot of information.
Sorry.
That's great. I think it's great. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. Do we have any questions or comments for Doug? No? Doug, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, if we can start our division reports. I don't know what order we're going to go in this evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
All right, I'm going to be handling the girls' side of the reports. Okay, I'm going to start off with cultural services from Kim. There are some upcoming cultural happenings. They're on the online calendar that is on the city website if you'd like to look these up more in depth. We have Why Jazz Matters, and it's a jazz and rich oral history by bassist Edwin Williams. That's going to be March 11th at the Black Box Theater and at the center. Alpharetta Music Club monthly performance is going to be on March 13th, also at the Black Box. And there's more information on. Do you have her outline?
Yeah, I printed.
Okay, so you have that link if you'd like to look that up. It looks like they also have wine and hors d'oeuvres at the end of that too, which is very nice. The Art of Speculation exhibit, which is exactly what it sounds like. Art can make you think, reflect, and speculate about the world around you. That is going to open on April 11th, and also they are going to be having an Art of Speculation reception from 5 to 7 on the 11th as well at the Art Center. And also the Milton High School Orchestra is going to perform at that, which will be very nice. The Art Center and Cultural Events, there is a new rental process at the Art Center, and it seems to be going well with 11 events booked, including the Sideways Contemporary Dance Performance last week, and at the Caldwell Baker Black Box meeting. My goodness, that's a mouthful there. To a wedding reception in June. So they're booking that up, and it seems like the process is going very well. Very exciting. They're going to have the Paint the Town, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Alpharetta Plein Air. I had to look that up, which means outdoor.
It was so successful last year.
Yes, and they had that last year as well. And that is going to be Tuesday through Saturday, May 17th through the 21st. It's a 5-day competition. They're going to be all around the city in various locations. And Arts Alpharetta is in partnership with the City of Alpharetta and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and they're going to host the second event. And it's a really great event. It's so fun. We have some pieces of art from it from last year. Can't wait to see what they produce. It's going to be on the 17th. and several days of painting around the city, and it's going to culminate on the 21st. It will include a wet paint tent at City Center, which should be fun, a quick draw competition, and the opening reception and award ceremony at the Alpharetta Arts Center. So good things happening on the cultural services side. On Amanda's side, for the community services, Taste of Alpharetta planning is underway. So it's going to be 20 restaurants have signed up already. Their goal is for 50, but they are struggling with the labor shortage. So we'll see how many we actually get with that. The list of events continues to grow, and it's turning out to be a record year for event applications here in the city of Alpharetta. There will be something happening in Alpharetta every weekend from the first weekend in April to the first weekend in December. Wow. They're booked. Yeah. On the marketing side, the activity guide is out, and it's beautiful. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We have very limited copies this year, so go ahead and go online and take a look at them. And Emily, once again, and my team, once again, did just a fantastic job. It's chock full of great camps and activities for the summer. We've added a lot of new things in there. And community agricultural area, the city ag plan for focus group meetings are scheduled for March through April, and I'll hand these out to you as soon as I'm done. And it has a list of all the different meetings that they have. Oh, you have it. Everybody has it. Okay, come on. Look at you. You're so efficient.
I didn't.
I don't have that
Did
one.
you did? We had them.
Can I get that one?
This one's prettier. I don't know what's going on with your printer.
Okay, thank you.
That I want to remind you, so I put them on
Yes.
one page, so.
Got it.
If you
Thank you.
miss any of the community meetings, it was not my fault.
And the last few things out there, the greenhouse and grow room are overflowing with seedlings for the spring and summer. Just cram-packed out there at the farm. And their grow row was launched on March 1st, and all the rows are filled, and their goal is to grow 2,000 pounds for North Fulton Community Charities, which is fantastic. That's for this year. So very successful and fun things going on out at the farm and on the event side here in the city. All right, lastly is my area, recreation services, programming update. Obviously, summer registration has started for residents. And to date, we are already at over half of the registrations that we had total last year, and that's just with the Alpharetta residents in 5 days, which is very exciting. So resident registration is going strong, and open registration is March 16th. So we foresee a lot of our camps being completely booked this year.
That's great.
Youth associations, they all have kicked off their spring leagues and their play. We had a great time, as you heard, out at AYBA on Saturday, and thank you to Dennis and Jit and John and the mayor for coming out. And my poor new supervisor, which I'll talk about in a minute, he had his trial by fire and had to be an Alfie. So that was his initiation right there. I've done my duty. It was his turn. So, but it was a beautiful day, great fun had by all, and Daniel just did a great job organizing that. Bocce ball. We had a bocce ball ribbon cutting this morning. Carla, thank you for being there. It was very fun. What a great place that's going to be for everybody. And we're looking at doing some programming out there, but it's also, we have open play going on that's scheduled for Tuesdays from 2 to 4. Anybody can come and play. But we're also looking at maybe some senior leagues going on out there, and maybe some open play for special needs as well, and getting groups out there. And they just did a beautiful job. I can't say enough. The seniors have been wanting that for a long time, and they were very happy about it. And really, on the rec services side, we are really just gearing up for summer. It's coming very quickly. We're 2.5 months away from kickoff at the pool, and that's happening. Coming up, we have teen and adult spring leagues starting next week. That's our basketball and softball. Health and wellness, free fitness classes are going to start moving outside because it's going to get nice outside. And spring break camps are going to be going on during spring break over at the Alpharetta Community Center and out at Crabapple. And we have another Trails and Ales starting back up on March 17th. We stopped it in January, February because the weather just was bad. We've learned not to schedule them during those months. Staffing update real quick. Aquatic supervisor has been hired.
Congratulations.
Yay! She is starting March 28th, which is my birthday, so it's like a great birthday present to me, the best ever. Her name is Katira, I'm gonna mess up her last name, Ad Bolzarog. It's gonna take me a minute to spell that and say it correctly, but she's coming to us from Stone Mountain YMCA, and she's worked at another YMCA. Do you know who she is?
I don't.
Okay, all right, yeah, she's very positive, very happy, and has just a great personality, and is going to fit in really well over there and work really well with the young staff that we have, so I'm really
What's her
excited.
first name again? I'm sorry.
If she goes by Kat, it's Katira,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh.
So can't wait till she comes in the door. Tyler, as I mentioned, was promoted from athletics coordinator to athletics supervisor over there at Wills Park Rec Center. And now he has the joy of interviewing people for the coordinator position over there, which he already has scheduled for Friday. And we're hoping to have that person in place by the end of the month. And the last one is we are still hiring for seasonal positions. Counselors, especially for camp, we're looking for that. I'm pretty good on the pool staff, which I'm really thrilled about, but we can always use a few more lifeguards. So if you know of anybody, send them my way. And that's it for rec services. Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kurt?
Well, good evening. First of all, I'd like to introduce Mr. Eric Milley, Park Services Manager. He blesses us with his presence tonight. So if you have any questions in regards to ball fields and condition of parks, please direct them to him, please. You know, we gave an update at the February workshop of the bond. And for the most part, that's still on schedule. So nothing really to significantly report for that. So everything is on schedule. One thing I will add about the bond is just got word that the soil test, the perk, the boring for the Webb Ridge turf is going to happen first week in April. And that is the telltale of what we can and cannot do and how much it's going to cost. So keep your fingers crossed that, those results come back positive. Park development side, the bocce ball courts are officially open. We opened them today. We are still working on the design for replacement for the Mansell Road, which is known as the Wild Wings Boardwalk. Public Works is taking the lead on that. And that's moving along. We're also still working on those designs at the access at the end of the Greenway, which we call the Amley access. It's for that to happen. Hopefully all that's going to happen at the same time. So nothing to change there. On the Park Services side, maintenance contract for the parks is due. They're under review right now. And March 10th is when those reviews are due, and then hopefully we can get council approval at the end of March so we can go into the contract. And that is to cut the grass and take care of the landscaping needs in all of our parks, including Park Plaza, ball fields, and so forth. Athletic fencing repairs, we got some money at mid-year. We're going to be able to finish our plan of fencing repairs at North Park, which is to do field 3, 4, and 7. The Youth Softball Association will be doing field 8. Actually, I got them backwards. They're doing field 7. We're doing field 8 at the softball fields at North Park. And we're also going to be doing some fencing repairs over at Innovation Academy around field 2. That's needed. Of course, we're waiting on supplies to show up, and materials are an issue, especially lights. So hopefully those lights will be installed when we can get a lift to be able to get those lights. We waited 6 months, seems like, to get the lights in, and now we got to wait in line to get a lift. So it's happening. And then it rains, so we got to get around the rain too. So it will happen. The same way with, just want to add at Webbridge Park, Public Works does have money this year to do some painting and some upgrades at the restroom facilities at Webbridge Park. So that should happen in the spring when the weather dries out and gets a little bit warmer. Opening day was a success. You know, someone asked me, what is your passion? My passion is people. My passion, what gets me fired up is the people that make things happen. So the volunteers, like Ambush, the volunteers for the Softball and Baseball Association, they make it happen. But you know who else makes it happen is our Park Services staff. It couldn't happen without them. And they successfully, once again, has successful opening days. And it wouldn't have happened without their hard work and expertise. So hats off to Eric and Matt for getting it done again. You know, in our schedules, and when they give us a report every month, it's business as usual. Well, that's easy to, it's easier to say business as usual, because if we gave you our schedule of what we do in park services, you wouldn't understand it. It would blow your mind. So I'm proud of those guys, and the schedules and the plans they have to upkeep on a daily basis is amazing. And you want to know what happens? Come right around with me one day. You can see how really where the rubber meets the road, and that's our staff, especially our Park Services staff. Wills Park Maintenance Shop. Yeah, the bids came back and it was significantly higher than we anticipated. So we're going into a phasing approach, trying to see what it would cost to kind of get things built in phases so we can have the money to complete this facility, not just for now, but for the future. We got to look 10 years into the future. What is this department going to look like? What's Wills Park going to look like? What are our needs? And here's our opportunity to do it now, because if we don't do it now, it probably won't ever get done. So we are working diligently with our Public Works department and our designers to try to, and finance to try to make this happen. So the Equestrian Center site work is on schedule. We actually have a pre-construction meeting Thursday with the actual arena installation where they're going to put the footing in. That's going to happen this Thursday. So that's good news, because Public Works weren't going to schedule that pre-construction meeting with the arena guys until the site work guys got to a certain point. So that means they're at that certain point, and they're going to be scheduling that work to be done. And hopefully that'll get completed, in the summer. Any questions?
I think we're good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Eric, are you visiting? Are you speaking?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, with that, Morgan?
I'm going to start my report off with a little bit of bad news. This is Ellie's last meeting. Ellie has accepted the position of city clerk with the city of Woodstock. So we are excited for her and her new adventure, which certainly we hate to see her go. But, she'll remain a friend. But I will say, she hasn't been with us a long time, but she had a very big impact in our department. And, sometimes you look back and you realize that things work out the way they're supposed to. And Ellie was supposed to be with us for a little while because she really helped us forming more than anything else when we were bringing the Arts Commission on board. And we had 9 people who didn't have a clue what they were doing. And Ellie guided us through that. So that is one of the things that she helped us with. So her timing was really good for us. Again, we hate to see her go, but wish her well with the city of Woodstock. And I've often said we got to keep our eye on Woodstock because they're up and coming right now. They're making a beeline for us. They want to be what we are right now. They want that. They want the energy that we have, so we got to keep an eye on them.
They got a long way.
So maybe we'll use Ellie as a spy to find out what they're doing and just do it a couple of days before they do. So, Ellie, good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate, you guys have all been so lovely to me, and I've had a great time, and honestly, I just have to say, once again, the park services staff to me is just incredible, and all the people in the community centers, it just, I never knew how much work. Because everyone says, oh, you work in Parks and Recs? They, like, Morgan, like, tries to make it the fun department, and it is, but it takes a lot of work to make it fun, so they work really hard. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
So I, moving on, I did give you copies of the community inputs for the community agriculture plan as well as our park plan for Union Hill and Waters. And I would, again, would encourage commissioners, if you can, to make one of the community agriculture meetings. You just have to come to one of those. And if you can attend one of the Union Hills and one of the Waters Park, we would greatly appreciate it. I understand schedules are tough and there's a lot going on, but if you want to try to get the gist of how we're getting the input and what that input sounds like, we'd encourage you to come out and love to have you come to those if you can. There's a couple of, y'all know, everybody knows that one of my passions is music and I love it, but I want to announce that we've added a couple of new concert series that are coming this year. And one of them is going to be at Union Hill Park, and which is one of my personal, I had a list of things that I wanted to check off before I retire. And one of them was to turn Union Hill into a facility that was just not used properly into some kind of event facility. And so we're going to see that. Home by Dark, which is the company that does the Brook Street concerts. If you've been to one of those, you know what kind of quality concert they are. They're going to do a total of 10 concerts at Union Hill this spring and summer. They're going to do Friday night and Saturday night combination. That way they can set the stage up on Friday, do a Friday night concert, and then a Saturday concert. But it's going to be a ticketed event. So we're renting them the facility. It's not going to be one of ours. You won't see it. You won't see us putting it out on our social media. But it is going to be a concert there, and it's going to be high quality concert. So we're really excited about that. But it will be a ticketed event. The other concert series that's going to be coming is we're going to partner with City Center, which is the complex that owns everything that's not public between here and Highway 9. And we're going to be doing concerts on the first and third Friday for May, June, July, and August. So we're going to be actually putting a stage on Town Green and having a concert there on Friday nights, the first and third Friday for those 4 months. Kind of see how it goes. We don't know how it's going to go. We don't know how it's going to be received. We don't want to know but we're going to give that a shot. So we're excited about those two family-oriented activities, you will. And then the last thing on my agenda, Mr. Chairman, is next month will mark my 5-year anniversary with the city of Alpharetta. I know it's just that quick, but I would like to ask that we don't invite any of our associations or partners next month, and give me that time, and let me give you a 5-year update on where we were, how we got to where we're at now. It's been a fun ride, and I think you'll enjoy it. It will be an interactive presentation, and it will be fun. I'm going to tell you that. That's all I'm going to tell you. So you can make your decision whether you're going to come to the meeting based on that. Okay? But it's been a great 5 years, and I appreciate the support of the commission, obviously the support of the staff. We all have a shared vision of what we're doing and where we're going, and it's just been a quick 5 years, but a whole lot of fun. So I would request that I be given a little extra time. I know everybody, when I'm not making eye contact with you, you're looking at the clock, so I know you're ready to go. So I will ask for a few more minutes next month so I can give that report.
That's great.
Pack a dinner, bring it in.
Yeah.
We're going to be here.
That's good.
So, yes.
Do we wear anything special, Morgan? Or
About colors?
okay, all right.
No.
Tennis shoes,
Just trust me.
jogging clothes.
Trust me.
That's what's scary.
Protect it.
Trust me.
It's not going to be just a PowerPoint presentation, I'll tell you that though.
Oh, great. I can't believe it's been 5 years,
Yeah.
Morgan.
Are we on other?
No, this is wrapping up, yes.
Yeah, so I ran into, over at Innovation Academy, I ran into our citizen, right? Caden, if you remember Caden, who was here, waited, the young man who was brand new as a sophomore at Innovation Academy, skateboarder. And ran into him, and I said, Caden, isn't it? He goes, yeah. And he's doing great over there. He still boards, back and forth to his home in Avalon or near Avalon. And he said, has anything come of just my thoughts when I was there? And I said, why don't I just simply inquire? He says, do I need to come back again? I said, well, let me just inquire and just know that, he and his friends are still hoping for some form of facility or a place to skate on this side of town. So I'm just delivering that message from him. He hopes the conversation continues. Sounds.
Okay, noted. Do we have any other questions, comments?
Yeah, real quick, the concert series, do you know what time they'll start?
Which one?
The city center concerts?
No, I don't. We're still trying to work out the details, but I would think it's going to be probably a 6 o'clock start.
Okay.
So there'll be two groups, a 6 o'clock and then 8 o'clock, and there's a hard start. There is a hard stop at 10.
Okay, that's what I
A
thought.
hard stop at 10. No encores or anything like that. It's
Okay.
a hard stop at 10.
Got it, thank you.
Anything else? Last thing, Ellie, thank you for all you've done,
Thank
taking
you.
care of us
Thank you.
every month for what you've
Hope I
done.
haven't
So
been
thank
too
you.
much of a
Have
pain.
fun. Move
Thank
along.
you. Thank you.
Take Morgan's motto with you. Have fun.
I will.
There you go. So, anyway,
Thanks,
thanks for
Bob.
everything.
Thank you.
Anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, you do? He's so nice. I mean, he's so young. Yeah.
Turn this guy off?
James is over there too. James is on our